Hey everyone, welcome to Neil Talks. My name's Neil and it's time to talk more QI. Yet again, a viewer request, and this is one of the most requested episodes I've received. Part of that's probably because it's taken me a while to get to it. No particular reason, it's just kind of the way I wrote down the list, I guess. But it's rare that I put out an episode lately where somebody doesn't request that I check this one out. And here I am. And this is episode 6 from Series Q. So we're getting pretty recent here. 2019 recent anyway. And this one's called Quests Part 1. Now, I don't know if this is such a good episode that they turned it into 2 episodes, or whether Part 2 has a different set of guests entirely, and there's just not a lot of different things you can title an episode for Series Q, because, you know, how many words start with Q that are quite interesting? Other than, you know, quite. Maybe we'll find that out in this. Maybe we won't. Maybe it'll be a big old mystery. Maybe there'll be a cliffhanger at the end of this, and I'll have to jump straight into Part 2. Something tells me that's not the case. But I am expecting a doozy, just because of the number of requests I've received for this one. I don't know who the guests are. I don't know if there's a particular moment. I especially like the really recent Sandi seasons, because like any job, I think it probably took Sandi a series or so to fully make the show her own and get into the swing of things fully and all of that. So, you know, here we are just prior to pandemic times. This is late 2019. Show's in full stride. Sandi's got her vibe. And yeah, I'm fully expecting a great one here. Let's jump into it. Quests, Part 1.
Where this day we sally forth upon a quest with our knights quadruple. All hail the valiant and mighty Sir Philip the Jupitus.
Nice. Fun hat.
Gallant and audacious Sir Alan Carr.
Seen him on
Lady Alice Levine.
Cats Just Counting. Oh, we like Alice.
And a knight on the tiles, Alan Davies.
Give him a colander. Love it. Double joke.
It looks nice on you, weirdly.
Probably weirdly.
Oh, sorry.
Halfway through the show, he's going to go, oh, I feel drained.
I saw a Labrador with its head out the car window.
Oh, nice.
Well, how do they wear glasses in the olden days?
They hadn't invented glasses in the old days, darling.
You see, I'm going to struggle on this show.
Oh, sorry, I was given to understand there was a beekeeping round. Hello, I'm from Amsterdam. Would you like some lovely cheese?
Shall we start the show and do a question?
No, let Phil run with it.
What's this man's name?
Is it Don Quixote?
Oh, it's about pronunciation. Oh, dear.
Don Quixote.
Well, the X is a sh, technically, because
Quixote?
it's Old Castilian. It should be Don Quixote.
Is Don short for something like Donald or Donna?
No, it was more of an honorary title.
More of a sir.
Actually, technically, he's not called any of those things because the protagonist in the book is called Alonso Quijano. So Don Quixote is a name he makes up for himself when he loses his marbles.
Oh.
Lots of people argue it is the world's first modern novel.
Where do they argue?
Hey! And it was an immediate and roaring success. So the question is, why might Elizabeth I not have read it?
She could read, couldn't she?
Do you know she could read in 6 languages? Is it?
Did Cervantes and Shakespeare have like this weird birth-death thing where they were born on the same day and died on the same day?
Didn't she lose all her teeth?
Yes, that wasn't the thing I was looking for.
Not that that answers this question, but...
What is a big event in history that Elizabeth I...
The Armada.
Spanish Armada, absolutely.
Yeah.
Cervantes was a buying agent for the Spanish Armada.
Very good pronunciation of Cervantes.
Cervantes.
Dos Cervantes, por favor.
It's a little bit like Elizabeth I when she'd lost all her teeth. The foreign ambassadors couldn't understand her. And she, obviously, because she was queen, she carried on chatting.
If she's anything like my nan, I'll tell you what Queen Elizabeth I was saying. Go and get us 20 senior service.
It used to be believed that reading, or what they called excessive contemplation, was incredibly bad for you, and it caused the most astonishing range of illnesses. Gout, catarrhs, wasting, indigestion, colic, crudities, vertigo, consumption and wind. All caused by reading too much.
It's like the menu in a gastropub.
Top 10 names in
shots.
England in 2035. So gout and wasting are at camp, but colics at home.
Because Alan,
Yeah.
they're like the white rhino. They're going extinct. You think with me being on the telly, there'd be a few more, but sadly not.
I love you very much, Alan, but I think you being on television is not going to encourage the breeding of children. I'm just...
Back in the playground. Won't you stamp on me glasses while you're at it?
I suppose a collective for Alans is. I wonder what the...
A pride.
A pride. He lost the use of his left arm. He was kidnapped and held captive as a slave for 5 years. He was excommunicated 3 times. I mean, he really had the most astonishing life. Now, his death date is recorded as the 23rd of April, 1616. It is the same date as Shakespeare, and yet they died 10 days apart. How is that?
Oh, one was the Gregorian and one was the Julian calendars.
So Shakespeare famously died on his birthday. So the same day...
It's the
they
same
are
plot
marked down
as, is it Name of the Rose? No.
Is it that
Foucault's
calendar,
Pendulum.
lady?
It is that calendar, lady.
Julian
Umberto Eco.
calendar?
Yes, darling.
Which is also my drag name.
Alan's is Julian Colander.
10 points.
Oh, really? Yes. Oh, my God.
Hence the discrepancy between Orthodox Christmas and
Now,
Western Christmas.
what's the most thankless job in history?
It was being a mum, surely.
Don't try and get the mum vote.
We have to say thank you to Mum in our house. We won't get any biscuits.
Therefore, not thankless.
I put the raisins into fruit and fibre. They came in a big box. I didn't put them in individually. wish I'd gone to school.
We're going to go back to 400 to 100 BC, and there were people called Yusha, and they were on a constant quest to rescue anybody in trouble and to help the poor. But they hated being thanked because they were too modest. In fact, it was part of their fundamental beliefs that you should never receive praise.
But were they really modest, or were they like, no, please don't, please don't, please, no?
No, they had codes of chivalry. He couldn't bear it. Even when he saved a king's life, he refused to ever see him again just in case he was thanked. It was absolutely part of who they were. In the end, the dynasty called Qin finally won. That's Q-I-N. And that is where China gets its name from the Qin dynasty. So you can see this area down here on the left.
Oh, cool.
Actually, the Chinese made a TV series called Yusha, and it was based on an American television series. Can anybody imagine what it might have been?
Starsky and Hutch.
Well,
Gunsmoke.
you've got it in that the car is critical.
Oh,
Knight Rider.
Oh, where are you?
Knight Rider, another point!
Oh, my God.
That or the Littlest Hobo.
The thing about Kit was, though, he was really sassy, so
Yeah.
he would always tell Michael that he was wrong.
Oh, but I'd really like that. If there was like a sat-nav that spoke back to you, I think that would be rather good fun.
What if it said, do you want to go to Sainsbury's, are you sure?
Surely Waitrose is more your style. Sassnav.
You can record your own.
Can you?
How long does that take? Do you have to record every road ever?
No,
He's been doing it for 9 years. This week,
He's in the
been
bees.
doing Lithuanian villages.
I've done all the different things in different moods, yeah.
But can you do mind that bus? Can you do that?
That nav doesn't tell you to mind that bus.
Oh, no, that is the children.
I like you have reached your destination and you haven't. I'd rather it just said, I think it's here somewhere. Get out and look, why don't you? Buy a map. Buy a map.
What's the lowest camping experience you can think of?
Oh my God.
was there
Death
that year.
Valley.
Where is that?
That's Glastonbury, 2006 or 7. That was the year when there were police
My God.
divers
Looking for bodies.
Oh,
But I didn't find any, so it's all right.
I went to Glastonbury once.
yeah.
I woke up on the floor. Someone must have trodden on me because I had 2 footprints there. And someone had stubbed a fag out on my face. No! Yeah. How annoying can I be if I'm lying on the floor?
I'm talking about the lowest campsite in the world. It is
Dead
1.6
Sea,
kilometres down
presumably.
inside the deepest cave on Earth. It's
Oh.
in Georgia, the Krubera Cave. Over 2 kilometres deep, and it can fill with water really fast with absolutely no warning whatsoever.
Sounds like a terrible place to camp.
How much is it for a family of 4?
It's not for me.
What do you mean it's not for you? You're a perfect size for underground living.
Look for Sandy's cameo in the upcoming Rings of Power.
Stuart Little, we get you a little car. Find the interesting things underground, Sandy, and make sure you come back and we'll have a lovely bit of cheese for you.
So I was listening to that Flight of Fancy and you went cheese, and I thought, oh, I would come back for cheese.
A nice double
The
Gloucester.
deepest point of the cave is called the Terminal Sump. Nobody knows how deep it is.
I've got one of those.
Prognosis isn't good.
Only my doctor knows where it is.
Well, I know a Ukrainian diver who could go and have a look, and he holds the record for the deepest dive so far, 52 metres down to the terminal sump. Why would you do that?
I do not want to go any further down here. Sandy, go further. Where is Sandy in her tiny car?
Deepest terrestrial animal ever found on Earth lives there. It's 3 millimetres long, just a tiny little thing. Do you not think that's astonishing that life is carrying on? This is not camping, it's living there full time.
I like that Alan went, oh, are you looking at the same picture? I didn't really think
You think it looks ugly, Alice, but you wait till you've seen Sandy doing dressage on one.
I love that Phil makes fun of Sandy just as much as he used to make that he used to make fun of Stephen.
Yeah, you put them back.
Yes. It just needs a bit of product.
Or a scrunchie.
Yes. Camping is a pastime. First documented, where do we reckon?
Early Victorian.
The person we have to blame is a British tailor called Thomas Hiram Holding. He's regarded as the sort of father of lightweight camping. That we have to go
Somebody that
camping.
wears a pussy bow is not genuinely camping.
No.
Like, I feel like he's got an inflatable mattress in there.
And under meal suggestions, he provides recipes for blancmange and lobster salad.
Come out.
Freeze dried?
But he has rode there on dry land, which is quite impressive. So.
Tide's out.
Camping these days can get seriously intense. Come on.
Oh.
Come on. Back
And
now.
good night.
Terrible.
What do Everest summiters come down with?
But there's only a fortnight in May and a fortnight in October when you can even go to the top. And the rest of
Yeah,
the year, it's
it's true.
400-mile-an-hour winds and minus 60.
Oh, it's
Why
a-
would anyone go up there? You're
I
obviously
thought you were
not
going to say it's all
there.
school groups.
No,
It's
it's
inundated.
If you do get permission to go, you have to queue. What do they come down with?
A Yeti.
A black eye by the sounds of it, if everyone's like...
Or a fridge magnet, something like that.
I've been near Everest, and I'm not sure what the answer is here.
There's a
The
Sherpa in a
top
bra.
is down again.
Sir Edmund.
Wow.
And they employ, in fact, 30 porters. Their sole job is to carry poo down the mountain.
You're not allowed to leave your poo up there.
Well, no. In fact, if you do climb up now, the Nepalese government, they require you to bring down 18 pounds of rubbish.
That actually is true.
Will the poo ever overtake?
No,
We can do this.
because they actually use it as fuel. All the stoves in that region are fueled by yak dung.
On average, the male porters can carry 90% of their body mass. There's one porter who can carry twice his own body weight. Hillary went back to the Himalayas. He led an expedition to look for the abominable snowman. He concluded that it didn't exist.
No.
No. But the Nepalese government has yeti hunting rules.
I like the idea that Edmund Hillary's there at the press conference, and this is what we're looking for. And there's a bunch of Sherpas in front of him. And they go, "Oh, you mean Keith?"
He's saying,
Or the centre parting. Do you think they saw lots of ones with little side parties? Like, that's not the one I'm looking for. I want the one with the person.
We will settle for the lead singer of Herman's Hermits.
How did the first ever cliffhanger ending conclude?
Was it Dickens?
This is a famous British author who first came up with this.
Conan Doyle
Just the
would be my
Devils,
guess.
Oh.
Obscure...
Thomas Hardy did
Just
do
Thomas
that.
Hardy.
Oh.
A pair of blue eyes. Henry Knight is left dangling perilously off the edge of a cliff, and his love interest, Elfrida, she goes and takes off all her underwear in a bush and makes it into a rope and saves his life.
makes her bush into a rope.
The metaphorical cliffhanger, so used as a literary device, is much, much older. So the Arabian 1001 Nights is in
Oh, yeah,
the story of the
Scheherazade.
8th century of Scheherazade, and she tells a story every night to avoid being killed, and she always ends it so that the king wants to find out what happens next.
Isn't there one in the Bible? He's not the father of the kid, isn't it? Like, dun, 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 dun.
Previously in the Bible.
Almost.
There's an effect called the Zeigarnik effect, and cliffhangers take advantage of this. She was the very first Russian woman ever to attend university, and she found that people will remember an interrupted task about 90% better than something that is uninterrupted. And you're more invested in it if the scene is left unresolved. How did
Makes
Britain's
sense.
greatest national treasure get here?
Taxi.
Crown jewels.
It is to do with the crown jewels, the Cullinan diamond.
Stolen from India, right?
It was absolutely massive. It was discovered in 1905 in the Cullinan mines in South Africa. Obviously, they want to get it to London, because they wanted to make sure that it was safe, so they rather ceremoniously put it in a package and they locked it inside the safe of a steamboat, and there was a team of detectives and all those things making sure this huge thing was
And
absolutely
that was
safe.
all a decoy,
In fact,
right?
that package was a decoy, and the diamond arrived in London safe and sound by registered post.
They mailed it.
Oh, stick a stamp on it, be all right.
I'm very glad that you said that, because I just imagined the poor man walking all the way down the mall going, "I've got a delivery for the Queen."
Well, it was taken immediately to King Edward VII to inspect.
I like the idea that you'd take it to the king and the king would inspect it, but, I mean, I'm presuming he doesn't know loads.
I would have taken it to David Dickinson.
Is he one of the Antiques Roadshows guys?
Again, they made a big song and dance out of it. The Royal Navy took a box across the North Sea. In fact, Abraham Asher took the diamond, put it in his pocket and caught the train and went by train and ferry all the way. with the
Tickets,
diamond.
please. Oh, shit.
He spent 9 months cutting it into 9 major diamonds. Now, on to the quest for true love. Who would be interested in this dating profile? Stocky build, short, bald, Bolivian male, moderate drinker, never been in a previous relationship, definitely wants children.
That's basically me.
Full Bolivian
Yes.
creature beginning with a Q.
It doesn't begin with a Q.
Well, it's in the wrong series.
It is. Okay, this is the story of Romeo, a Sewencus frog. So he has been living in a tank in Bolivia in the Cochabamba Natural History Museum, and it was thought that Romeo was the last one in his species. His conservationist set up an online dating profile for him on Match.com in an effort to find him a mate. And
Hi there, I'm Romeo, a Sewencas water frog from Bolivia. I'm a pretty simple guy. I tend to keep to myself and love spending nights at home. I also love eating. Then again, who doesn't?
who could resist, right? Who could
Okay.
resist?
They're good friends to do that.
Didn't want to do it himself.
Yeah.
Embarrassing
It's
to do it for
embarrassing.
yourself.
They're good mates.
Get your friend.
Miguel, could you do a video for me?
Hey, why don't I put it you get catchy the worm?
I have the tiny arms of the frog. It's not possible for me to hold the phone. It's the worm.
The thing is, it worked.
Loads of frogs started turning up.
Toad in a frog bra. Hello.
They found 3 males and 2 females, and he has now been paired with a female who they have obviously named Juliet. Exactly right.
Of course.
See, because I am called Romeo. This photograph was taken of me at my modern jazz dance class. When you dance in Bolivia, you must never smile.
She's really energetic. She loves to swim. She eats a lot. She keeps trying to escape. And
She is driving me on the wall. Climbing out of the tank.
Yeah. He's
Eating my worms.
He's very shy.
He doesn't like her. There's no such thing as shyness.
There are other animal dating apps. There's a dating app called Tudder. Does anybody know what that might be?
For cows?
It is for cows.
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah. You can request either cows or bulls, and you do literally swipe left or right.
Find someone that looks at you the way that Frasier is looking at me, honestly.
Apparently Andy Murray has invested in Tudder. I don't know why you thought that.
That's not true, is it?
Yeah, that is a true thing, yes.
Why?
I don't know if you're aware, but I recently had an artificial hip put in. So I need to find new avenues of revenue. I was on a lot of painkillers.
You don't sound anything like him at all.
Yeah,
I was like-
sound a lot like the Bolero.
Andy Murray's Scottish? I don't know.
It's like the frog was in the room.
I'm Andy Murray. I won Wimbledon.
How are the cows swiping left or right with
I think they get the farmers to do
Peak
Speaking of breeding, who has
Jupitus,
the world's
man.
most sinister genitals?
Peak Phill Jupitus.
Sinister as into the left.
Exactly.
Clever.
There was a snail called Jeremy who was really lonely. And
Heather!
Yeah, so
Where's he from? I'll do the accent.
Jeremy was from southwest London.
What?
It is an extremely rare sinistral snail. The shell spirals to the left. But it meant his genitals were on the wrong side, so he could only have sex with another snail who also had genitals on the left side. They did a search and they found 2 potential mates. This is a lovely story.
You keep saying it's a lovely story. A succession of perverts trying to get weird animals to have sex. That's
Darling,
all.
wait.
I want to see the snails. Snail porn, come on. It takes ages. It takes ages.
I like it slow.
And they brought the 3 together.
Oh, now it's a threesome.
No! No! It's worse, darling. The ones from Spain and Suffolk got down to it and Jeremy had to watch.
If you say he had to watch, he could have just gone indoors.
Yeah.
We do actually have some snail porn.
Oh, yeah.
They touch each other's tentacles. Yeah. And if you look carefully there, you can see their penises come out of their heads. That is just a thing. It's a snail thing.
Oh, baby.
Yeah. Which is the closest planet to Earth?
Oh.
Mars?
Okay, then it's got to be Venus or it's a trick.
Venus?
Okay, so... Oh, what's the trick?
Mercury.
Yes, absolutely right. It is Mercury.
What?
But it's not how we normally think. Venus often is right the other side of the sun, making it really, really far away. So it's closest to Earth 46% of the time. Venus was closest 36% of the time, and Mars only 18%.
I think I did say all of that.
Yeah.
I'm afraid not, Alice.
Venus is an astonishing place. It rotates so slowly that you could stroll across its surface at exactly the same speed as the sun passes through the sky. It means you could watch the sunset forever just by walking.
But you'd be eviscerated.
You would, darling. It rains.
Yeah, it's also like...
It rains sulfuric acid.
And
the
it's
atmosphere
ridiculously
is
hot.
872 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
But anything for a sunset, am I
Yeah.
right?
Anybody have a mnemonic to remember the planets in order?
Yes.
Take Pluto off that list.
Pluto doesn't count. is actually a Disney character.
Yes, that's right. My very easy method just speeds up naming planets, so there were...
I couldn't get past vagina, though. Moist vagina expected might just steam up 90.
So weirdly, that's probably the one I'm going to remember. My favourite is Mary's virgin explanation made Joseph suspect upstairs neighbour.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
But on the subject of Earth, where would you find the oldest part of it?
Antique shop.
No, there's rocks in the Arctic that are 4 billion years old.
Is it a fossil in a museum? Is it something like that?
No.
Well, it's actually in Houston.
Oh, it's the moon rock. Moon rock?
Is, darling, rock.
Because it was...
Don't blind me with science. What's that?
And they realised it came from what's known as the Hadean Earth. So we are talking... So that is an astonishing thing that they found it in a cupboard. What is the name of this sword?
Excalibur.
It isn't. Yeah. That's the first one he got. Excalibur's the one later.
Yes.
From the Lady of the Lake. The one he pulled out the
Yes.
stone is called Terry.
Oh,
Terry.
He pulled it out of the stone shortly before buying his first pair of trousers.
They're quite a fit, aren't they?
that's what they're all laughing at.
I did see a boy in the street the other day wearing jeggings. A boy.
It's a mistake, isn't it?
I know, you can see everything. Could you see he was sinister? I know a snail like it.
Upon yonder table lies the chalice of eternal life. Prithee, select the one true holy grail.
Oh, this is awesome. We're doing Last Crusade.
If I meant to look like Indiana Jones, I look like a Charlie Hungerford from Bergerac.
I don't have that reference, I'm afraid, but I imagine it's a good one.
For the holy grail, which one are you going to
Oh, we're even
select?
playing the music. I love it. The John Williams.
It's the modest one, isn't it?
OK. So what do you reckon?
Well, I think it's the wooden one.
No. Okay.
Here's the thing. You should have picked the tray. A grail was most likely a serving dish, so would you please bring me the tray?
Oh, it's not the QI mug, though?
One of these stories tells of Joseph of Arimathea bringing it to Glastonbury, actually, where he
Got
buried...
smashed! Oh,
A grail actually looks like this, which means a holy grail looks like this.
Oh.
I'm working my arse off here, people. In first place, with -1, it's Phill! With -7, making a fantastic debut, it's Alan Carr! It's surprising, -15, Alan!
Poor Alice.
With -18, it's Alice! And let us dwell upon this questing quotation from the late, great Knight of the Realm, Sir Terry Pratchett. So much universe and so little time. Good night.
Terry Pratchett, indeed. When this came out, I was actually trekking in the Himalayas, in the same area as Everest Base Camp, but we decided to go to a less traveled part of that national park because base camp gets crowded. So we went to a small peak called Gokyo-ri, which was still at about 5,500 meters high. And yeah, all the fuel in all the little tea houses up there that host climbers, everything's cooked and heated by yak dung. And I wouldn't be surprised if they used human dung for similar purposes. The yak dung wasn't that stinky. You wouldn't necessarily want to smell a human dung fire, though. That episode was like peak Phill. Phill was on his A game. Great accents. Romeo the Frog was perfection. Chef's kiss. Great stuff. I love that Phill, like he was notorious when it was Steven's series to just tease Steven mercilessly. And I like that he's an equal opportunity teaser, and he teases Sandi just as much. He's so good at that. Ton of fun. Loved it. I wish Sandi had mentioned how old that rock from the moon was, because I have an odd personal connection to this factoid as well, because my ex-father-in-law, I was married back in my 20s. He worked at the Royal Ontario Museum, and he worked in their geological dating department. They had some of the best equipment in the world, and they date geological samples radiometrically. They're like crushing tiny little zircons and measuring the radioactivity of certain isotopes and the ratios of decayed isotopes to non-radioactive isotopes. I mean, it's a whole science to it. I'm not a geologist. I couldn't explain it to you. But he worked in that lab, and they had some incredibly old samples go through that lab. A lot of them come from the Canadian High Arctic, Baffin Island in particular. And I forget at what point in that marriage, he gave us a souvenir, which was this small chunk of rock that they had dated, and it was 4.08 billion years old, and it was one of their newest samples, and he told us it was the oldest sample they had ever tested. I mean, the Earth is only 4.5 billion, and this was 4.08, so we're talking super early. A lot of things have to happen for a rock to last that long without being subducted and basically turned back into magma before cooling and becoming rock again, etc., etc. And I don't know if he was blowing a bit of smoke up our ass or not. I didn't get that feeling, but it was also odd that he just gave us the oldest thing they had ever tested. I mean, it might have been a small portion of the oldest thing they had ever tested. I don't know. But for a while, I had the oldest thing on Earth in my apartment. I think. Maybe. But yeah. I want to know how old that moon rock is. It could be older. Oh, man. This was a great episode. A lot of great moments. Some episodes that get recommended to me are because of one particular moment. And those moments are often just off the wall insane, and you have to see them no matter what. I'm thinking of, like, they say of the Acropolis, where the Parthenon is, that sort of thing. Where it's just like, what you really need to see about this episode is these 2 minutes right here. It's bonkers. But then there's other episodes which are just super hilarious, basically from start to finish. And this felt like one of those. Although Phill doing Romeo the Frog was like 3 minutes of just non-stop laughter. Like, kudos to him. And thanks to all of you who recommended this episode. I'm sorry it took me so long to get to it, but it was worth it. It was so much fun. Thank you guys so much. I can't wait to next week where we dive into another viewer recommendation. And until then, everybody, take care, stay healthy, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.